When an organization, an employer, an academic institution begins their journey of creating and issuing digital credentials, they have to think about, they have to work backwards really, not just from learning outcomes, but what are the life outcomes they're looking for the individuals they're serving. That starts to bring up things like how transparent should and can we be about the learning experiences that we provided? How much information can we bring to the story about what this credential represents in the world? It also begins to bring up questions of articulation. How does a skill developed in one context flow and have value when it appears in another context? Sometimes this means bringing in stakeholders to actually ask them, if we produce a learner with these sets of skills, what kinds of opportunities will it open up? Organizations have often done this in different ways, but there's a much greater level of intentionality that I think is brought to the process when you're spelling out those skills, spelling out those competencies, and arming somebody with a credential that's meant to actually represent them out in the world. It not only represents the individual, but it represents the institution that issued it. And so one of the things that emerges is, what do we as an organization value in the world? That helps determine what kinds of skills and abilities should find their way into a credential, and ultimately helps describe how those credentials relate to skills and opportunities. So it really creates a whole new level of transparency, it creates greater intentionality, and it often fosters relationships between organizations that haven't yet known how to speak to each other. But once they start to speak a common language or create a common currency, they now know how to transact. And we see a lot of experiences now where organizations, universities are in a much better place to speak to the employers whom they wish to provide opportunity for their learners.